Hi, this is Karen with My I'm Possible Dream, and we are talking about Asperger's and autism syndrome. And I have two wonderful people with me. I have Jason, and I have his wife, Megan. And let me tell you a little something. You know, if you're thinking about autism, you probably are thinking that people on the spectrum, they're very lonely, they sit home by themselves, they have to be cared for. Just close your eyes and tell me what you may be thinking about somebody on the spectrum. Well, open your eyes because you're going to hear Jason talking about living on the spectrum, and he's going to tell you when he finally found out that he was Asperger's, and his wife Megan, who is not on the spectrum, but she actually married somebody who's autistic. Isn't that interesting? Because you know what? Life goes on and we all want the same things in life. So welcome Jason and welcome Megan. We're glad you're here today.
Glad to be here.
So Jason, you told me as we were prepping for this that you didn't know that you were on the spectrum until you were how old?
I was diagnosed at 24.
24. So you went 24 years and you went to regular school?
No.
No. So tell me what happened during those first 24 years?
Well, I went to Beachbrook, Pep, Belfair, and everybody kept telling me that all my problems were emotional, from doctors to psychiatrists to therapists. Everything's emotional. They had no clue.
They had no clue. Now you have to understand, when I first met Jason, I thought he was Alex's age, and Alex is going to be 25, and when Alex was diagnosed, it was 1 out of 150. I just learned that Jason is older than Alex. I will let him tell you his age in a second if he wants to. But I can understand that they didn't know really what your diagnosis was because autism and Asperger's wasn't really a big diagnosis back in those days. But I can tell from knowing you from Autism Speaks and just talking to you for the last few minutes that it was not an emotional diagnosis at all.
No, it was not.
So how did you get from that emotional diagnosis and living 24 years having people telling you the wrong thing to finding out that you have Asperger's?
Well, just basically, I guess, going from psychiatrist to psychiatrist and therapist to therapist and doctor to doctor, and finally, I'd been with a psychiatrist named Judith Hirschman for a few years, and finally she diagnosed me with Asperger's at 24.
At 24. So this must have been a relief for you and your family.
Oh yeah, my mom was, in the room with me, and when she diagnosed me, she goes, "I think you have Asperger's." My mom got down on the ground and she's like, "Thank God,"
And how did she describe to you what Asperger's was at the time? Did she?
Well, kind of, sort of, not really, because at the time, Asperger's was, still in its infancy, and, yeah, I mean, everybody knew what autism was.
Right.
But nobody really knew what Asperger's was, so, it had been pretty rare for somebody to know about it. I mean, growing up, or even any of the psychiatrists that I had, nobody even mentioned it. Had nothing.
And now here you were an adult yet being diagnosed with it. And most psychiatrists and therapists were treating children, not adults. So
Yeah.
how difficult was that for you?
It was very difficult because after she diagnosed me, we went to University of Pittsburgh for 10 days, Dr. Nancy Minshew, and her staff, they confirmed the diagnosis and basically sent us back to Cleveland with not much help because, like you said, you know, everything is children,
Right.
children, nothing for adults.
And it's really only within the last couple of years that we're talking about the transitioning from children to adulthood. We're still not really even talking about adults,
Yeah.
which is pretty sad because, as I mentioned to you, about 7, 8 years ago, my husband was diagnosed being on the spectrum after almost a whole lifetime. He has a friend who was diagnosed many, many years ago as ADD, and he actually is Asperger's. So there are adults in their 50s and 60s who have had this syndrome and have been treated for so many other things rather than what it truly is.
Yeah.
So you came back to Cleveland at age 24. You had to seek some additional services, but at least you were relieved that you weren't mentally gone,
Right.
which is a nice thing.
Right. I knew what I had.
Exactly. So did your life change much when you came back?
Well, I mean, I guess in a way, I mean, it did a little bit because it went from the high of knowing what I have and having the team of doctors and the staff at University of Pittsburgh helping me to the, you know, getting used to the low of coming back to nothing, like no help. It's, you know,
It had to have been difficult.
yeah, I mean, you know, we had to do a lot of, you know, research and a lot of phone calling, emailing, you know, trying to find someone, something, you know.
So who did you finally find that could really help you?
Well, I found two people. Number one, my wife Megan, and number two, last year, I was hooked up by Sherry Goldberg with Doug Bletcher, who is a autism personal life coach, and he treats and helps adults. So, yeah, it was like such a relief that finally, you know, after, you know, living for 40 years with the, you know, the Asperger's, somebody could actually assist or help in some way.
Absolutely. Well, I remember a year ago, a little over a year ago, both you and Megan, and I believe one of your families came with you to our kickoff at Progressive Field.
My mom.
And it was your mom?
Yeah.
Okay. So you came with your mom, and you came to our kickoff for last year's walk, the 2014 walk. And that's when I was really not only impressed by the two of you, but hopeful for the future. That there was life on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many people, like I said in the beginning, who look at people on the spectrum and believe that they're going to be alone, that they're going to live with mom and dad for the rest of their life, that they're going to end up in a halfway house, but it's not true. There are possibilities, there are opportunities, and you found your possibilities and your opportunities when you found Megan.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you find Megan?
We actually met online, and I plentyoffish.com, and we met, and it was a little weird because I for many years I had been in group homes. We tried that, supported living homes. The supported living actually helped a lot, but different support services, support companies.
Sure.
And finally, the county deemed me to be high functioning enough that they literally took away all those services, and it was hard at first, but it was a relief. It was like finally somebody deems me to be, I guess you could say, normal.
Whatever normal is.
Whatever normal is. And while we were transitioning there, I met Megan, and as funny as it sounds, she was like a continuation of the staff people, in a way. I mean, but it worked out great.
But don't forget, I didn't let you meet me for a week.
Yes. And
because Jason wanted to meet me right away, I said, no, you have to wait a week to meet me. Because I wanted to actually talk with Jason first and get to know him first through phone conversations first before we actually met in person.
Mm-hmm.
And when we did meet in person that week later at Willoughby Panini's, I did bring 2 girlfriends with me.
Good for you. Good for you.
Just in case Jason turned out to be some
serial killer.
Yes, serial killer. And at that time, I was a cheap date then because I had a virus. I was on antibiotics then, so I could only drink water. So, but between me and my girlfriends, we kind of, what would you say, grilled Jason?
Well, you didn't do much
actually,
grilling.
I didn't do most of the grilling. My girlfriend, Cassie at the time, grilled Jason, and Jason's like, "Who's on this date?" But me or my friend Cassandra.
Her lips were moving, but the sound was coming out of her friend Cassie.
Oh, okay.
Okay, who's who? It's pretty funny. But
well, I like the idea that you waited the week. That you had a plan, so
yes.
that's a good plan. And I like the comment that you made a few minutes earlier when you said that Megan sort of was like your transition, because I think we all need a real partner in life, mm-hmm. whether you're on the spectrum or not, because you're just not getting together for the love and the affection and the sex. It is about lifelong companionship and sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's remarkable when, after a week, she meets you, and obviously the relationship grew. And you obviously knew, as you said earlier, Megan, that you've grown to understand Jason's quirks. But I guarantee, Jason, from your vantage point, you think Megan has quirks too.
Everyone does.
Thank you for saying that, because it's the truth, and that's what Alex says too.
Now, I will say this. Our relationship, in a sense, started out kind of, would you call it, crazy, strange, in a sense?
Yeah.
Because when we first met, my grandma was in the late stages of cancer. And basically, in a sense, besides, meeting the first time at Panini's, our dates, in a sense, were, mostly at my grandma's house. And within the first, week of us dating, she met my entire family.
Oh.
Which is strange when you're first dating somebody. And it just so happens that my grandma ended up passing away on her birthday.
Oh my.
So, yeah,
Well, things, they say, happen for a reason.
Yeah,
and
that was
draw
like
you
that was
and
like
draw
3
you
weeks
together.
later, So
So you met how long ago?
July 29th. It will be 7 years.
7 years. And you just had an anniversary?
yes, June 9th,
June 9th, and it was
our 3-year anniversary.
3 years.
Wedding anniversary, yeah.
Okay. So you're on the road for a long life ahead of you. So tell me, how do you make a living?
Well, I'm going to school. I'm in
Terrific.
my second year. I'm in my second year at ITT Tech for electronics and IT, and that takes up a pretty good portion of my time.
It sounds like it. Absolutely.
Throw in some landscaping here and there. We're looking for a house. Yeah, she works.
Someone's gonna pay the bills, Jason.
And she's doing something that I used to do. I see that you are a florist.
Yes, I'm a florist at Giant Eagle in Painesville. Been doing it for 16 years.
Yeah.
Since I was a senior in high school.
Very good. So what's your favorite thing to do in the floral department?
I guess make the arrangements, the flower arrangements, because then you get to be very creative and just make arrangements that you think look nice and hopefully people will buy.
Of course they're going to buy.
But just experimenting with the flowers and, just making your own creation is, good.
We also go out with friends. We do what'd you say, a bunch of stuff with my dad and Debbie.
Yeah, and we also have we do game nights with our friends.
Yeah, my stepmom Debbie she's been very instrumental in everything. She's there. She's, literally a phone call away. She says we can come over whenever,
That is wonderful.
Yeah, she's taken Megan in as, one of her own, and, they do a lot together, and, it just works out well.
Well, having family and having support is extremely important.
Oh, yeah.
And having the two of you being so supportive with Autism Speaks is just incredible. Autism Speaks is not necessarily, as we all know, a support group. You know, Autism Speaks really raises funds for research, but yet when we volunteer and we come together, we support each other. And one of the ways we do that is through our fundraising efforts. And I know you have something that's going to be going on at the end of the month. I mean, it sounds phenomenal, and I want everybody to get out to Willoughby for it. So tell us a little bit about this big event.
Well, I am the captain of Racing for Jason.
Racing for Jason, okay.
Yes. My stepmom Debbie, she actually came up with the name, and we flew with it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's great. And we're doing a fundraiser at the Wild Goose in downtown Willoughby on the 25th of this month.
So July 25th at the Wild Goose in Willoughby.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the first autism fundraiser in downtown Willoughby.
So a first, so I want everybody to hear all that, is the first in downtown Willoughby on July 25th.
Yes.
Do you know what's significant about July 25th?
I do.
Okay, tell us.
It's Christmas in July.
But there's something else significant about July 25th. Something about the moon. Man walked on the moon.
Oh.
July 25th. See? It's another first. Okay. Continue.
It starts at 4, and really it goes till whenever.
Ooh, okay.
It goes until you want to go home.
Yes.
Okay.
I just talked to the mayor, and the trees and the gazebo. We're trying to get the gazebo blue, but the trees are definitely going to be
So
blue.
it's going to be lighted up blue in downtown Willoughby on July 25th.
Yes.
July 25th, lighted up blue.
Absolutely.
Another lighted up blue day. Love it.
Absolutely. There's no cover charge, no tickets, no nothing. Just come, have a good time, donate to Team Racing for Jason. We're going to sell t-shirts. We're going to have a couple of 50-50 raffles. We're going to have a Chinese raffle. Some of the things we're auctioning off or raffling off are a Pandora bracelet, Price is Right, autographed merchandise.
The Price is Right?
Yes. My cousin is the prize producer on The Price is Right.
So are we going to have Drew Carey there too, maybe?
He was not able to get Drew, but
Oh.
we're going to have some autographed Drew Carey stuff.
Okay.
And basically, whoever wins The Price is Right stuff will have an opportunity to get everything personalized.
Wow, I love it.
We're going to have a cruise for 2 on the Nautical Queen. We may have a TV. Many gift cards and other prizes. It should be a lot of fun. We're going to have a blue shot called the Missing Piece.
Ooh, okay.
It should be very yummy. And again, like I said, the t-shirts, and it should be a lot of fun.
Well, it's open to the public, and we really encourage you to come on out.
Special thanks goes out to the Wild Goose.
Absolutely.
And Great Lakes Brewing Company, R&H Motor Car Group, Crow Patrick's, the Twisted Patty, for all their support.
Well, you know, it's really important that people become aware. And when they come out to this event, Jason and Megan, of course we would love for them to spend their money and put it towards, your team, and your team money all goes to the walk, and the walk money all goes to research, and more than 70% of that money comes back to Cleveland, for research. So that's a phenomenal. Yeah, you didn't know that. See, Jason's looking at me like, whoa. Yes, so that money does come back to the Cleveland area. But if for some reason you don't have the money, but you want to come out and you want to support Autism Speaks, and you want to support Jason, and you want to learn more, come on out. The Wild Goose is not going to turn you away.
No.
Okay? The same thing for the walk on August 23rd at Progressive Field. You don't have to have a team, but it would be nice if you did. You don't have to be a registered walker, but it would be nice if you did register. But even if you just come out and see what it's all about, awareness, tolerance, that's the most important thing. So before I close, 24 years you didn't know